believed in that age, and his dreams of discovering a new world were fulfilled. Burbank perfected new products by using this higher mind within. He was able to change growing things and create new species because he tapped this metaphysical miracle power. Michelangelo, the great artist and sculptor, turned to this metaphysical miracle power for gigantic new concepts in art that caused him to create the most perfect statues in marble that man has ever produced. His energy and creative power blossomed even when he was in his 70s and was called back out of retirement by the Pope to do his murals in the Sistine Chapel, which have been called some of the greatest art ever created by man. Pasteur, Edison, Franklin, Einstein, Florence Nightingale, Joan of Arc, Newton, Plato, and Marco Polo, all these great men and women of history had divine guidance in the discoveries, inventions, and creative genius they manifested. Alone, they could never have produced such greatness had they not turned to this miracle power within which we are studying together. They became geniuses and developed almost superhuman power of mind and spirit. What hast thou in thine house? Start today to work your little everyday miracles. Do not wait for a better or more auspicious time. The moment you study this method, you can begin to perform the miracles in your life that you desire and which will give you and your loved ones a better life. The Bible says, "What hast thou in thine house?" One man changed the entire destiny of the South using this metaphysical principle. I visited Tuskegee Institute in Alabama when the great scientist and educator, George Washington Carver, was its leader. He showed me through his laboratory where I saw dozens of products he had created from the lowly peanut, which revolutionized the industry of the South. There were plastics, wallboard, insulating materials, asbestos, varnishes, paints, fodder for cattle, and all kinds of other products made from the peanut. Dr. Carver looked within his own mind for the miracle-working power that could lead him to perfecting and creating all these new products. He did not go to New York City or some other center and search for wealth and power. He busied himself using the materials at hand, and the divine mind within guided him unerringly in taking the right steps for achieving a great destiny and benefiting the world. Look around you today, in whatever environment you exist, and see what you can do to improve your life or change the conditions around you. The miracle power begins to work for you the moment you realize that it is a living, dynamic intelligence which exists within your own mind. The miracle-working Father within. The great master metaphysician Jesus spoke of a Father within who doeth the work, in referring to his amazing miracles. For centuries, people have been puzzled as to his exact meaning. Now, in our scientific age, we know that every person possesses this miracle-working Father within. It is the higher mind, the spiritual intelligence that works in all of nature. It is the power that gave you life, the divine mind that causes you to breathe, that keeps your blood flowing through your veins and arteries. It is the intelligence in your cells that builds and repairs the body, which heals the sick, which creates the child in its mother's womb in 9 months' time. Like all great forces in the universe, this Father within is invisible, but it is as real and more powerful than the physical and material universe which it controls. This divine mind, which some call God, is in the fourth dimensional world where the miracle-working power resides. You can tap this divine mind which works miracles through a simple daily regime, which we shall now study together. It can be invoked this very moment through the power of faith to do your bidding. Like the Aladdin's lamp of the fairy tale, there is also a magic genie within your consciousness, which you can summon to assist you in carrying out the daily miracles of living. Let us see below how you invoke this magic genie of your higher mind for performing daily miracles. The miracle-working regime. 1. First, believe in this miracle-working power. Have faith that this miracle power of your higher mind can do for you what it has done for the great ones of the past. Daily invoke this higher power by opening your day with a short prayer, something like this. Father within, I now humbly ask that you take over my affairs for this day. Guide me to say and do the right things all day. I have faith in the Father within, and now place myself in the divine center of all good and constructive action, knowing that only that which is good can come to me. I am now the center of divine action, and everything I do will be prompted by the higher divine mind within me. 2. Look about you each day and be aware of the miracles that this Father within has created, and which are already at work for you without any conscious effort on your part. The life force flows within you, giving you health and energy to carry out your day's activities. The miracle power in the soil has grown the food you are to eat this day. Coffee will come from Brazil. Sugar from beets or sugar cane is already in existence. Eggs are being created on some farm from chickens that already exist. Beef is being nourished somewhere for your table tonight. Rubber is being grown or manufactured artificially for the tires of your car. Steel, iron, and coal have been built into the earth for your use in machinery, radio, TV, motion pictures. All exist because this miracle power put the elements into creation long before you were born. The oil which runs your car, which gives you heat in winter and cold air in summer, was starting to be created 1 billion years ago. The wool for making your clothing exists somewhere already on a distant flock of sheep. The cotton for shirts, dresses, and other items is now growing on some far-off plantation. Be aware of this miracle working power of divine mind that is at work in the universe and is even now working for your own good. 3. Sit down for at least half an hour daily and concentrate on the power of this higher divine mind within you. Ask this power to give you perfect health. If you are sick and wish it to heal, you have faith in this power. Know that the miracles of healing are daily taking place in millions of human bodies, and the same power can work for you. When you cut your hand, what force within your body heals it? This force weaves new skin, sends the phagocytes to the wound to kill the invading bacteria, and creates new cells to take place of old ones. When a bone is broken, this same miracle-working power within rushes supplies of calcium and other elements to the fracture, rebuilding the bone and even making it stronger at the juncture where it was broken. 4. When you go to bed at night, the last thing you should do is spend a few moments instructing this divine mind within what miracles you wish it to perform for you during the time you are asleep, or the next day when you are awake. You may make up your own suggestions to the divine metaphysical mind, or you might use a statement for general well-being, such as this. Father within, I now go to sleep, confident that you will heal and repair my body perfectly while I sleep. I ask for divine guidance in all my activities tomorrow and in the days to come. I especially desire peace of mind and harmony in my home and work. I ask for new ideas to improve my finances and to bring me security for the future. I ask for the miracle of divine love to flower in my life and to bless all those within the center of my activities. I now go to sleep confident that I shall awaken on the morrow refreshed, healed, revitalized, and rejuvenated mentally and physically. 5. To concentrate the power of this higher divine mind within, sit down each day and make out a list of the positive and constructive things you want to happen to you. This list should include your working conditions, your home, your social life, your gifts and talents, your finances, and your state of health. Do not be afraid to ask the indwelling Father for anything you desire, for remember, He created the universe and all therein for you to use and enjoy. Your list might look like this. A. I desire a change in my work. Guide me to the finding of a new job doing. State the type of work you wish. B. I wish to make an extra $1,000 so I may buy the things I wish: a new TV set, a car, an air conditioner. Specify the things you desire and visualize them clearly. C. I wish to have romantic fulfillment and to find a mate who embodies these qualities. List the kind of mate you would like to marry, giving the traits, appearance, etc. D. I would like to travel. Guide me to the means for taking trips to. List the countries you wish to visit. One lady in our lecture group listed travel on her miracle guidance chart, and she soon found work on an ocean liner as a manicurist. She met a wealthy widower on this cruise, fell in love with him, and married him when the cruise ended. She achieved another objective which she had on her guidance chart: the finding of a suitable mate and financial independence. You never know from what channel your good will come to you. When you once release the tremendous power of your higher divine mind, you will begin to see miracles occurring on all sides of you. Things will happen that you never consciously realized were possible before. Have faith in this power and never doubt its spiritual reality, for the very fact that you exist is living proof of a miracle-working power in the universe that is greater than any other force in existence. Chapter 2. How to work miracles through metaphysical commands. We have learned that the miracle power is within you, and that it can work for you when you use a certain regime, which we studied in Chapter 1. Now let us learn how to work miracles through creative metaphysical commands that we shall give to the indwelling Father who performs the miracles we desire. The cells of your brain and body are like tiny batteries. They possess atomic and electrical charges that are diffused throughout your entire body. Science now has discovered that when we are sick, the brain and body cells have in some way become short-circuited, and their charges of electricity, magnetism, and life force are depleted. The miracle-working power of the divine mind within is what normally keeps the brain and body healthy. It is prejudiced in favor of health, not sickness. Life, not death. Success, not poverty. Happiness, not misery. Peace, not conflict. Love, not hate. When you wish to work miracles of health or success or love happiness, you must learn to go to the very foundation of your life and work with the divine intelligence that has been implanted within your mind and body. To focus this creative miracle power, you must stir the positive, healing emotions into vibrant action with creative metaphysical commands. Let there be light. The first dynamic creative command in the Bible is, "Let there be light." Under the impetus of this forceful statement, the invisible atoms and molecules of unlimited space were set into motion, and all creation began. Light is synonymous with spirit or intelligence. Darkness represents ignorance and the forces of evil. So too, there are two opposite polarities in all of life. One represents the force of good or God, the other the force of evil, or, as religionists call it, the devil. Just as God used this dynamic command, "Let there be light," to start all creation, so too, you can summon up all the creative powers of your brain and body by using a similar creative command to invoke the miracle-working power that can change your life from a negative, fear-filled, and unhappy one to one of health, happiness, and fulfillment. Just as we have light and darkness, so too we have opposing states of consciousness, which constantly struggle for supremacy. These two states of consciousness can be created through the words you think and speak. These words set up little electrical and magnetic charges within the brain, and then communicate themselves to the nerves and muscles of the body, setting into motion the conditions embodied in the words. The master metaphysician Jesus said, "If ye abide in me and my words abide in you, ye shall ask what ye will, and it shall be done unto you." John 15:7. What does this mean? It means that the creative intelligence of the divine mind within is unlocked through the use of words or creative commands. Positive words, thoughts, and emotions will release positive creative power within your body, whereas negative thoughts, words, and emotions will release destructive power within your body. Many modern doctors will not allow certain words to be used in the presence of their patients because they know that negative words can be harmful to the patient and decrease the healing power within the body. Focalize your creative miracle power. Everyone has a vague idea that he wants to be happy, that he would like a healthy body, that he would like to have a fortune, but most people occasionally release enough creative power through their positive thoughts and emotions to just barely get along in life. Some unconsciously use the right creative commands, and then they see amazing results in their lives. However, most people are so steeped in the consciousness of negative thoughts, words, and emotions that they are never able to achieve the big dramatic results that bring them complete fulfillment and happiness. To achieve the complete release of this inner miracle power, you must learn how to focalize the creative energies of your mind and your emotions. Just as the sun's rays can be focused through a magnifying glass and set fire to a piece of wood or paper, so your creative mental energies can be focalized through a process of concentration and dynamic mental action that can literally kindle the creative flame of genius within yourself. Secret of spiritual communication. Just as there is communication between fellow men through the use of words, there is a spiritual communication which can be invoked between man's conscious mind and the divine mind within. The conscious mind is the seat of reason, logic, and rationality. The soul is the seat of the higher divine mind within man, where spiritual communication takes place. When we pray, we reach out with spiritual language to this hidden, secret center within the soul and invoke God's help and guidance. The language of the soul is as real as the language which mankind uses to communicate with his fellow men. When you wish to invoke the divine mind within to carry out your wishes and aspirations, you must use this method of spiritual communication. To release the dynamic energy of this higher mind, you must see to it that the words you use in this spiritual communication are the right ones. Let us examine two states of consciousness that are represented by opposing words in the following listing. Life, death. Peace, war. Riches, poverty. Good, evil. Health, sickness. Youth, age. Joy, misery. Beauty, ugliness. Love, hate. Confidence, fear. When you wish to work miracles through creative metaphysical commands, you must be sure that you approach the divine center of your consciousness with words of spiritual communication that represent the positive, life-giving, healing qualities of divine mind. When you invoke the images of negative words given in the right-hand column, you will release mental and chemical forces that deplete your energy, lower your vitality, and create negative and destructive circumstances within your body and in the outer circumstances of your life. Science confirms miracle power. At last, in this scientific age, science confirms the miracle power that man possesses within his brain and body and soul. A series of laboratory experiments taken with school children showed that the sugar content of the blood could be raised or lowered by the experimenter at will. Two groups of children of the same age were taken from the same grade in school. These two groups were given the same problems to solve. The group were told that they could easily solve the problems, that the solutions were easy, and during the time they worked, they were given encouragement and praise for their efforts. The B group were told that the problems would be difficult to solve. They were told they could not easily solve them, and they were discouraged and depressed by the teacher. The A group finished their tasks quicker, with fewer mistakes than the B group, but the most startling part of the entire experiment was the fact that when the blood of the A group was analyzed, it was found to be higher in sugar content than the blood of the B group. This extra flow of sugar from the liver gave the A group more energy and helped them perform their tasks more quickly and accurately than the B group. It was also found upon analyzing the blood of the B group that it showed less sugar and more fatigue acids than that found in the A group. This was scientific proof that the creative energy of the mind and body, the glandular flow, and all the other activities of the brain and body are radically affected by the words, thoughts, and emotions that are imprinted upon our consciousness. How to give positive creative commands. The divine mind within carries out your instructions and commands. It had tremendous power, for it is the creative mind that originally created you and the entire universe. Within you is a spark of the divinity which brought you into existence, just as within the chick is the creative power which makes possible the miracle of future new life through the egg. Your creative commands reach this divine center of your being and release the miracle working power that can cause you to do anything you wish. This power can heal your body if you are sick. It can keep you healthy and strong and youthful as you grow older. It can guide you to your right work. It can give you songs, inventions, poems, stories, any kind of creative ideas you desire that might make you a fortune. All these things and more can this divine mind within do for you if you once learn how to invoke its dynamic, creative power through your creative commands. The regime for giving your higher mind creative commands. Each day, when you arise in the morning, give your higher mind a series of creative commands made up of the life-giving, positive words you will find in the left-hand column just presented. You can make up your own powerful commands or use those given here. Say these statements aloud if possible. If not, then say them quietly to yourself. Repeat them several times to give them greater effectiveness. Then, during the day, as often as you can, whenever you feel the need for more energy, more power, more intuitive guidance, say the particular creative commands that fit the situation. 1. Life, I am life. The life force now flows through my brain and body, filling me with energy and vitality. I now breathe deeply, and the life force is strengthened and fortified. I am young. I am strong. I am powerful. I now meet all challenges with new courage and optimism. The divine center of my being expands and grows more powerful under the impetus of divine mind. 2. Peace. I am now at the center of peace and poise and power. All disharmony and conflict fade away. I know the joy of perfect serenity, and like a peaceful lake, reflect the blue of the heavens. My serene soul now reflects the joy and radiance of the divine countenance, and I am at peace with the world. 3. Riches. I now command the forces of life to bring me abundance and prosperity and riches. I ask for divine guidance to my right place in life. The treasures of the universe were created for me, and I now accept abundance. 4. Good. I am good, and therefore I attract only that which is good into the orbit of my experiences. As God is good, I am now a channel for the perfect expression of God's goodness through my daily activities. I give out good, and good comes back to me. I operate under the law of good, and evil has no power to touch my life. 5. Health. I summon the miracle working power of my higher mind to heal my body of any and all negative conditions known as sickness. I command the life-giving forces within my brain and body to so regulate my glands and operate within my organs that I shall know health, vitality, energy, and strength. 6. Youth. I now energize my brain and body with the consciousness of youth. I recognize that the life force or divine energy is never old, sick, or tired. Therefore, my body can know only the enthusiasm and energy of youth. I am now in the consciousness of immortality and divinity, and the soul is ever young, and in the eternal image and likeness of God. 7. Joy. I vibrate on the plane of joy and happiness. I am filled with the vibrancy and thrill of life. I rise on wings of hope and optimism to new planes of consciousness, where all my dreams come true. I am happy, and I radiate that happiness to everyone I meet. 8. Beauty. I am filled with the ideal of spiritual beauty, which overcomes the limitations of the physical self. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and I now see the beauty of sunrise and sunset, of oceans and mountains, of bright blooming spring flowers, of blue skies, and all the hidden beauty of my daily life. I am surrounded by beauty, and its creative miracle now changes my world from one of drabness to a wonderland of magic and enchantment. 9. Love. I now live in the radiant consciousness of love. I send out love to everyone I meet. This radiant stream of divine love negates all hate and resentment. I am like a loving, trusting child, having faith in all people and knowing that the divine image of love is within the soul of every living human being. 10. Confidence. I now surround myself with an aura of confidence and poise. I no longer fear anything in life. I know that the Lord is my shepherd, and I shall not want. I radiate confidence in my business and social life. I am at ease in the presence of others and operate with confidence and poise in every situation. Speak the metaphysical creative word. Have the miracle. When you once practice this form of spiritual communication with the divine mind that is at the center of your being, you can speak the creative word and have the miracle almost at once. As you grow stronger and stronger in the use of these creative commands for working miracles, you will be amazed at how quickly and easily all the forces of nature will bend to your will. Case history. She asked for and got $100,000. A lady who had a 17-year-old daughter came to my lecture to bring up and educate her daughter, but they had never been able to make more money than just enough to get along. After this lady had learned the metaphysical method for performing miracles, she asked the divine mind within for the sum of $100,000. She did not know how such a vast sum could ever come to her, but she did have faith that the power within could bring her that sum of money. One day in meditation, she suddenly had a vision that she would win the money through buying a sweepstakes ticket. She had never gambled in her life, and she was astounded when this vision came to her so strongly. She bought a ticket in the Irish sweepstakes, and when the drawing occurred, her ticket was chosen for one of the biggest prizes, $144,000. She won that amount when the race was run, since her horse came in first. She came into the fortune she had dreamed about, and was able to do all the things she had wanted to do all her life. I have never bought a sweepstakes ticket in my life, and I certainly do not urge any other person to go about his demonstration of a fortune through this unreliable medium of gambling, but in this instance perhaps there was no other way by which this lady could have had the materialization of her fortune, and Divine Mind might have given her the intuitive guidance to buy that ticket. The power works in various ways for various people. It may take longer in some cases, but if one persists and has faith in this miracle power, it will ultimately bring one the things of which he dreams. The regime for releasing miracle power through creative words. 1. Concentrate your creative power of mind by organizing your thoughts into positive patterns, rather than negative ones. Remember, thoughts are things. You create the outer circumstances of your life by your inner thoughts. Each day practice thinking positive thoughts of health, happiness, peace, prosperity, and joy. 2. Make it a practice to eliminate all negative words from your vocabulary and supplant them with only positive words. When you talk to other people, use only creative commands. Learn to practice saying things that express positive convictions, such as, I am happy. I am healthy. I can succeed. I can do that. I will be a success. I will have money. I will overcome my problems. Henry J. Kaiser, who is worth hundreds of millions, showed a friend who once visited his home in Hawaii a dictionary in which he had carefully cut out the word impossible. This was one of the secrets of his success. He refused to express any words that were negative and lived on in the positive conviction that he could accomplish anything he desired. 3. Daily, practice raising your energy levels by using energy-producing words which you repeat over and over, such words as love, success, happiness, good, achievement, God, harmony, peace, charity, brotherhood, forgiveness, faith. Great men in history have always used this theory for producing the positive chemistry of mind and body by using magnetically charged words that help them raise the creative energy levels of their consciousness. When Napoleon was preparing to become crowned as emperor, he strode back and forth before a full-length mirror, repeating over and over these words. I am Emperor Napoleon I. It is said of Caruso, the great Italian tenor, that when he was waiting in his dressing room to go on stage, he would stand before his mirror and sing, I am Caruso. He would sing this over and over, up and down the scales, fixing the image of his greatness indelibly upon his inner consciousness. 4. While you are working to build your higher consciousness, you must practice, very much like an actor does for a stage role. Stand in front of your mirror in the morning before going to your office and practice your dynamic word commands in a firm, confident voice. You can make up your own statements or use these. I command the forces of life to do my bidding. I demand the best that life has to offer. I expect respect from everyone I meet. I request from invisible sources my supply and abundance to meet all my needs in life. I have important work to do this day, and I shall achieve greatness. I take on qualities of superiority in my personality and conduct, and therefore I become superior. It was a wise man who said, if you wish to become like Voltaire, you must think, act, and talk like Voltaire. 5. Form the mental habit of having faith in yourself and in the power of the divine mind within you. Express this faith in daily words and actions. Take on the expressions of a successful person if you wish to be more successful. If you wish to materialize riches and abundance, begin today to act like a person of substance. Dress like a person who is important, and if you have only one suit, be sure it is neat and clean at all times. Chapter 3. New Dimensions of Miracle Power Through Metaphysical Mental Imagery. In a study of miracles performed by the great men of history, I have discovered that most of them used new dimensions of miracle power through mental imagery. They were able to expand their states of consciousness to include new combinations, new ideas, and new concepts, which no one else had previously formed. What is the imagination? It is defined in the dictionary as the act or power of forming mental images of what is not present. The act or power of creating new ideas as by combining previous experiences. An image is a visual impression of something. In metaphysics, we employ mental imagery more than anything else to achieve fulfillment of that which we desire. The first place where the Bible speaks of mental imagery is in the story of creation in Genesis, where it says, "Let us make man in our image, after our likeness." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. The imagination is a God-given function with which man may perform the same miracles as God himself. It is within man's imagination that this divine function exists, and which man may use to create in the image and likeness of his innermost thoughts. Mental imagery as a spiritual function. Joubert said, "Imagination is the eye of the soul." All great things have been created through the art of mental imagery. This applies not only to our material world of skyscrapers, bridges, industry, and our jet and space achievements, but also to the world of the intellect. Einstein's theory of relativity was a mental concept. Rockefeller's great financial empire was formed in his mind through mental imagery before it became a reality. The miracle of mental and material creativeness which formed the Hilton chain of world-encircling hotels was born in Conrad Hilton's imagination years before it became an outer reality. When the Master Jesus performed his miracles of healing the sick, making the blind see, and feeding the multitudes with the loaves and fishes, it was a stupendous act of mental imagery focused through the higher spiritual dimensions of mind. The building of the first car was an extension of the mental imagery that first produced a horse-drawn wagon. Henry Ford carried the mental pattern further in his imagination and visualized the assembly line method, which produced the modern miracle of cheaper transportation that put America on wheels. How to form big mental concepts. To image a thing is to form a mental concept first. Then the projection of this mental concept to the outer world is an almost automatic function, which involves the mechanism of the higher mind, the sympathetic nervous system, and the reflex actions of the muscles and nerves. You may ask what you will of life, but you will only achieve it by first forming the correct mental images of what you desire. Ask yourself, what do I want of life? Image it clearly in all its details. This should include the things you want to do, the person you want to be, the things you want to have. You possess within your mind a metaphysical brain projector, which is capable of projecting to the outer world the mental images that you have built within. Just as a motion picture projector sends out a beam of light which focuses on a screen the picture on the film, so your brain projector can only project a picture if it is clearly imprinted upon the cells of your brain. If there are no images on that film, there can be no outer projection. Let us see how this works. There can be no successful projection unless you have first fixed the mental image of success upon your consciousness. What is the picture you hold of your success? Is it mediocre or big? Is it an image of your own business or working for someone else? Do you visualize a different job from the one you are doing, which you do not like? To have a great destiny, you must have big mental concepts. Here is the regime for building these big mental concepts, which can cause your higher mind to project the creative pattern you hold to the outer world of reality. 1. Sit down for at least a half hour a day and concentrate your mind on building big concepts. If you are making $100 a week, expand your image to $200 a week. Visualize yourself earning that money first. Do not make the mistake of raising your mental sights too rapidly, for you must really believe you can earn $200 a week before you can project that success image to the outer world. After you have built this mental concept for a week or two, you may be prompted to enroll in a special course in evening high school. a course that will actually project you into a future job paying the bigger salary. Example: a woman of 50 attended my classes in New York for several weeks. Her husband had died, leaving her some insurance money, but not enough for future security. She told me in a personal interview that she had tried to get a job, but no one wanted an old woman, as she put it. I told her to change that mental concept of herself at once. She had let her hair become dingy and gray-streaked. I advised her to search within her own mind to see what she really liked and wanted to do. She knew a man who was a judge, and one day she visited his court and became fascinated at seeing the stenographer taking notes on a stenotype machine. She told no one of her plan at the time, but she enrolled in a course in stenotyping, and when she had finished her course, she began to project the mental concept that she would one day be a court stenographer. A few months later, her judge friend told her that his secretary was leaving to be married, and he needed a good stenotype operator. It was only then that she revealed her secret to her friend, that she was a trained stenotype operator. He hired her at a good weekly salary, and this woman, who had felt that she was old and finished in life, began at 50 a new career that paid her well and gave her new dignity and self-respect. Miracles can truly occur through the use of mental imagery. 2. Look around you in your everyday life and see what conditions you would like to change or improve. Almost all great things have been accomplished because someone looked about him and was discontented with the way things were and wanted to change and improve them. This exercise should apply not only to your physical environment, but also to your mental gifts and talents. Perhaps you want to play the piano, or sing, or do public speaking. This desire to change the circumstances of your life can be extended to all departments of living. Visualize yourself playing the piano, writing the book, taking the trip, making a bigger sum of money. And soon you will be guided by the divine mind within to doing the things that you have created through mental imagery. 3. Constantly strive to increase your knowledge of the world in which you live. The power of imagery increases when you possess a mind that has many highly developed facets. Your imagination can only compile new and more effective forms of imagery when your brain has absorbed many new ideas. It is true, he who has imagination without learning has wings but no feet. The imagination must be developed through knowledge and solid facts. Make it a point to study all branches of knowledge so you will be well read and will have an appreciation of the better things in life. The Chinese say, "Man with good education seems to have much luck." 4. Mentally practice actions that you would like to have take place in your life so that your imagination will be more fully exercised. For example, practice aloud and before a mirror, asking your boss for a raise in salary. Then practice selling some product to a prospective buyer. Make a speech before the Congress in which you plead some universal cause, such as peace or brotherhood. Visualize yourself buying a Cadillac or other fine car, driving it, showing it off to your friends. Do the same thing with buying your own home, investing money in the stock market, or taking a trip to some place you want to go. The ability to create mental images depends on exercise, just like physical development of a muscle. If you can pass a series of such mental images through your mind daily, you will soon find yourself reflecting these mental images in your daily life and doing the things you have held as mental concepts. 5. Mentally set some high goal for yourself and let this goal constantly inspire you to make bigger efforts to achieve your goal. You might, in your mental imagery, plan what you would do if you suddenly inherited $1 million. You might laugh at the thought that you would ever come into so much money, but remember, you are using a metaphysical miracle power that can work its miracles for you, as it has for thousands of others in the past. Examples. Here are 4 examples of students in my classes who used this power of mental projection through the imagination and who came into unexpected sums of money. One young lady received money through a large insurance policy that a relative had made out in her name years before. A man had a sum of money come to him from reparations paid by Austria to those whom the Nazis had robbed when they occupied Austria during the war. A third member of our lecture group came into a large sum of money through the settlement of a court case involving a patent infringement. Another lady in our group sold her first novel, which she wrote after learning how to exercise her imagination. She was given a substantial advance payment for the book, and later received thousands of dollars from a movie company that bought the book. 6. Do not accept the limitations that might exist at the present moment in your life. In your mental imagery, see these circumstances changed by time into the new conditions that you hold in consciousness. If you were a shoeshine boy in Texas and someone told you that you would one day become President of the United States, it might almost appear laughable. And yet, a boy named Lyndon Baines Johnson made that type of amazing transition in a period of a few short years. He used these principles of mental imagery to amass his vast fortune, and even if he had not become president through chance, his life still would be counted a successful one. 7. Talk to your higher mind, just as you would talk to a person, telling it your secret aspirations and desires, and then sit quietly in the silence and let it guide you to taking the right steps, which will fulfill your destiny. Sammy Davis Jr. had every known limitation in his early life, but he kept telling himself, "I can do it," and visualizing and imagining his future success, until he finally won through and became a great star. Another instance of a man of the same race, who has amazed everyone in the boxing world, who has used this principle of imagination and mental projection, is Cassius Clay. Some people might consider his confident statements about victory in the ring as mere braggadocio, but the fact remains, he has up to this point fulfilled every promise he made to himself. 8. Perhaps you are not living the life in this moment that you would like to live in the future. You may be in the wrong work, and you may not be able to make a change at present. You may not have enough money to do the things you desire, and you may feel that you can never change these negative circumstances of your life. Should you let your situation depress and discourage you? Indeed not. By using the metaphysical miracle power that your higher mind can release in your everyday life, you can soon alter these negative conditions and create a positive, happy, successful future for yourself. In the meantime, make it a point to see your present environment through rose-colored glasses, and in your imagination, see the perfection you dream of in your inner world. How a child saw spiritual reality. I remember I once visited a place on the Pacific called Balboa. There were charming white stucco houses on the side streets facing the ocean, with purple and red bougainvillea spilling over their trim roofs. Suddenly I found myself at the end of the street, and there was a shabby little house that had been built of packing cases and odds and ends of lumber. It was obviously inferior to the other cottages that lined the streets. Playing in the yard of this shabby house was a little boy of 8 or 10, with blue eyes and a shock of golden hair. I pointed to the shabby shack and added, "Does anybody live in that house?" The boy looked up at me with a big smile on his bright face and said, "Yes, I live there. Ain't I lucky?" This child was seeing the true spiritual reality behind his life, not the ugly, limited shack, which had caught my attention. He had the blue Pacific at his doorstep. The golden California sun bathed his world with beauty. He had the unlimited vision, beauty and spirit of youth to buoy him up, and to him, this little shack in which he lived was a palace, and he felt himself fortunate to be living in it. This is the mental attitude that you must bring to your own life. You may not live in the most perfect home at present. Your job may not be to your liking, and you may not have all the money you would like to have, but don't let your discontent with your present situation blind you to the metaphysical miracle power within your mind, which can change these negative conditions, if you will, but hold the right mental images and concepts in your consciousness. Chapter 4. The Master Key That Opens Doors to Metaphysical Miracles. There is a master key which you may use to open miraculous doors to the secrets of the entire universe. This key is desire. In metaphysics, we call desire the divine emotion, for it is the master key which the Creator used to evolve the entire universe. When everything was created, God placed this divine emotion into all living creatures, and it serves as the motivating power that stirs all things into creative action. It is the desire to get out of that egg which causes the chick to begin to peck his way out of his prison. If this desire were not inborn, he would never know the breath of life. It is your desire for life that keeps the life force pumping through your body, propelled by your heart and glands. It is your desire for success that drives you on and gives you the motivation to seek out the means for making a fortune. It is the desire for happiness that causes people to overcome all kinds of discouraging obstacles and strive to achieve this desirable goal. This one master key alone can help you unlock doors to the mysteries of the universe. The Master Jesus knew of this master key principle. He said, "Ask and ye shall receive. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you." There is a metaphysical miracle in this great spiritual formula which can help you unlock the doors to the invisible treasures of the universe. Do you recall the story of Ali Baba in the fairy tale? Before the door to the hidden treasures would open for him, he had to first